Welcome back, Young and the Restless fans. Genoa City may be heading toward one of its most emotional and explosive storylines yet. A secret connection is growing behind closed doors, and if it turns romantic, it could destroy a family from the inside out. At the center of the storm are Newman and Sienna. What started as concern, what began as friendship, may soon become something neither of them expected. And the person who could suffer the most is Newman. For months, Sienna has worked hard to build a stable life in Genoa City. After everything connected to her past marriage to Matt Clark, she knew winning the trust of the Newman family would not be easy. Many were suspicious of her motives, especially after Matt's return brought chaos back into everyone's lives. But slowly, things changed. Sienna proved herself again and again. She stood by Noah. She tried to make peace with the family. She showed that she wanted a better future and not more drama. Over time, the Newmans began to soften toward her. Even Nick, who once questioned whether she could be trusted, started seeing a different side of her. He saw compassion. He saw loyalty. He saw someone trying to fix mistakes she never meant to create. But now, that growing understanding may be becoming something much more dangerous. Nick is currently fighting one of the hardest battles of his life. After being pulled into a painkiller addiction tied to Matt Clark's manipulations, he has been trying to regain control. The road to recovery has not been easy. There are moments of strength. There are moments of weakness. And there are moments when he feels completely alone. That is where Sienna enters the picture. She carries deep guilt over what happened. In her mind, if Matt had never come back through her life, Nick may never have fallen into addiction. Whether fair or not, Sienna feels partly responsible. Because of that, she has become determined to help Nick heal. She checks on him. She listens when others cannot reach him. She offers support without judgment. And for Nick, that kind of comfort is becoming hard to resist. The problem is simple. Sienna is dating Noah. Noah loves her deeply. He believes they are building something real. He trusts both Sienna and his father. He has no reason to suspect that emotional boundaries may already be shifting. But viewers know how these stories begin. It is never sudden. It starts with small moments. A late-night conversation. An emotional confession. A touch that lasts too long. A look that says more than words ever could. And once feelings begin, there is no easy way back. Nick has always seen himself as a man who protects his children. Family means everything to him. That is exactly why this situation could become so devastating. If Nick develops feelings for Noah's girlfriend or worse, acts on them, it would become one of the greatest betrayals of his life. Noah would feel humiliated. He would feel replaced. And he would feel wounded by the two people he trusted most. That kind of damage does not disappear quickly. But the fallout would not stop there. There is also Sharon. Sharon has always shared a deep connection with Nick. No matter how many years pass or how many relationships come and go, there has always been unfinished emotion between them. Many fans still hope they will reunite one day. Yet if Nick suddenly becomes involved with Sienna, that dream could collapse instantly. For Sharon, the pain would be layered. She would hurt for Noah. She would feel betrayed by Nick's choices. And privately, she would be forced to accept that Nick may be moving on in the worst possible way. That emotional shock could change how Sharon sees him forever. Meanwhile, Sienna may soon face the hardest choice of all. Does she truly love Noah? Or has her bond with Nick grown into something she can no longer deny? Sometimes people connect during moments of crisis. Pain creates intimacy. Shared struggles create closeness. And what feels like compassion can slowly turn into desire before either person realizes it. That may be exactly what is happening now. If so, Genoa City is heading toward heartbreak. Because once Noah learns the truth, nothing in the Newman family will remain the same. Trust will shatter. Old wounds will reopen. And loyalties will be tested in ways no one expects. The biggest question now is whether Nick and Sienna stop this before it goes too far, or whether temptation wins. One wrong decision could cost Nick his son. One secret kiss could end Sienna's future with Noah. And one betrayal could destroy every chance of peace this family has fought to rebuild. The warning signs are already there. The tension is building. And the next chapter may begin sooner than anyone thinks. Trouble is quietly building in Genoa City, and while no one has said the words out loud yet, the danger is becoming impossible to ignore. Nick, Newman and Sienna may still insist that nothing inappropriate has happened, but sometimes the biggest betrayals begin long before a kiss ever takes place. They begin with secrets. They begin with emotional dependence. And they begin when one person starts needing someone they should never need. That is exactly where this story is headed now. After weeks of trying to recover from his addiction struggle, Nick has found himself leaning more and more on Sienna. At first, it seemed harmless. She simply wanted to support him through a difficult time. She offered kindness when he was vulnerable and patience when he felt ashamed. But lately, their connection has changed. Nick opens up to Sienna in ways he no longer does with anyone else. He tells her things he keeps from Sharon. He shares fears he hides from Victoria. He admits weakness he would never show Noah. And Sienna listens like no one else can. For a man drowning in regret, that kind of emotional safety can become dangerously addictive. The worst part is that Nick may not even realize what is happening. He tells himself she is only helping. He tells himself she is Noah's girlfriend. He tells himself he would never cross that line. But feelings do not wait for permission. Meanwhile, Noah has started noticing subtle changes that he cannot explain. At first, it was small things. Sienna canceling plans because she was busy. Nick suddenly defending her whenever anyone questioned her motives. The two of them sharing private looks during family conversations. Moments that seem innocent on the surface, but feel different underneath. Noah tries to ignore it. He tells himself he is imagining things. After everything the family has gone through, suspicion is the last thing he wants. He loves Sienna, and he trusts his father. Why would he doubt either of them? Still, instinct can be louder than logic. And Noah's instincts are beginning to scream. One afternoon at Crimson Lights, Noah walks in unexpectedly and sees Nick and Sienna seated together in a quiet corner. Their conversation stops the moment he approaches. Nick immediately changes the subject. Sienna looks uncomfortable. Noah laughs it off, but inside, something shifts. Why were they hiding a simple conversation? Why did the room feel tense? Why did it seem like he interrupted something deeper? From that moment forward, Noah cannot shake the feeling that he is standing outside of a story everyone else already knows. As the days pass, tension grows. Sienna becomes distracted around Noah. She cares about him, but guilt is starting to show. She hates lying, even by omission. Every time Noah talks about their future, she feels another wave of pressure. Because deep down, she knows the truth. Her feelings for Nick are no longer simple concern. They have become personal, complicated, and impossible to dismiss. Nick, meanwhile, is battling his own conscience. He loves his son. He would never intentionally hurt Noah. But whenever Sienna enters the room, his walls come down. Around her, he feels understood. Around her, he feels less broken. That emotional comfort is turning into temptation. And temptation becomes more dangerous each day it remains unspoken. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Noah arrives at the ranch looking for his father and overhears part of a conversation through the open patio doors. He hears Sienna say, "This can't keep happening." Then Nick replies softly, "I know." Noah freezes. He cannot hear the rest. But those few words are enough to send his mind racing. What can't keep happening? What exactly are they trying to stop? And why does it sound like they have already crossed a line? Instead of confronting them, Noah leaves quietly. Sometimes silence hurts more than shouting. Now suspicion has become fear. For the first time, Noah begins wondering whether the two people closest to him are capable of betraying him together. That question alone changes everything. Back inside, neither Nick nor Sienna realizes Noah was there. They remain trapped in a conversation about boundaries, guilt, and feelings neither wants to name. Both know they need distance. Both know Noah deserves honesty. But neither is ready to face the consequences. And delay only makes disaster bigger. Elsewhere, Sharon starts sensing tension in the family. She notices Noah's mood. She notices Nick's restlessness. She notices Sienna avoiding eye contact whenever certain topics come up. Sharon has lived through too many secrets not to recognize one when she sees it. If she starts connecting the dots, the truth may explode before Nick and Sienna are ready. Now Genoa City is standing on the edge of emotional chaos. Noah is watching. Sharon is questioning. Nick is slipping. And Sienna is torn between loyalty and desire. The real danger is no longer whether feelings exist. The danger is how much longer they can stay hidden. Because once Noah asks the question directly, there may be no lies left that anyone can believe. In Genoa City, what started as quiet tension is now turning into something far more dangerous. The emotional distance between truth and denial is shrinking fast, and Nick, Newman and Sienna are running out of time to control it. Because at this point, it is no longer just about suspicion. It is about connection. And connection is exactly what they can no longer deny. After Noah's quiet observation at the ranch, everything begins to shift in subtle but powerful ways. Nick senses something is off, even if he does not fully understand what. Sienna feels it too. The comfort they once shared now carries an unspoken weight. Every conversation feels watched. Every moment feels exposed. And every silence feels louder than words. Nick tries to pull back. He tells himself that whatever emotional reliance has formed between him and Sienna needs to stop. He reminds himself again and again that she is Noah's girlfriend. That she is off limits. That nothing good can come from this direction. But emotional bonds are not easy to erase. Especially when they formed during vulnerability. Sienna, on the other hand, is struggling in a different way. She feels caught between two versions of herself. One version is the partner Noah trusts. The other version is the woman who understands Nick in ways she never expected. She did not plan this. She did not ask for it. But it is happening anyway. And ignoring it is becoming harder each day. One evening, Sienna finds Nick alone at the Newman ranch office. The house is quiet, almost too quiet. Nick is sitting with a distant expression, clearly overwhelmed by his thoughts. He looks exhausted. Not just physically, but emotionally drained. Sienna hesitates at the doorway, then steps inside. At first, the conversation is normal. Safe. Controlled. They talk about Nick's recovery, about boundaries, about trying to do the right thing. But slowly, the tone begins to change. There is a pause. A long one. The kind that does not feel empty, but full of everything they are not saying. Nick finally admits something he has been avoiding. He says that Sienna has become one of the few people who makes him feel stable again. That confession changes the air instantly. Sienna tries to respond carefully, but her voice trembles. She admits she feels responsible for what happened to him. She says she wishes she could fix it all. Nick looks at her differently now. Not as Noah's girlfriend. Not as a guest in his life. But as someone who truly sees him. That moment is the turning point. Because emotional honesty, once fully exposed, becomes difficult to contain. Outside the ranch, Noah returns earlier than expected. He is still uneasy after everything he overheard before. He tells himself he is just checking in, just making sure nothing is wrong. But deep down, he is searching for answers. When he walks in, the house feels still. Too still. He hears voices coming from the office. Nick and Sienna. He stops. And listens. What he hears is not loud. But it is enough. Nick is speaking softly, almost in a voice Noah has never heard before. Sienna responds gently, and there is an emotional tone between them that does not belong in a simple friendship. Noah does not interrupt. He does not walk in. He simply stands there, frozen. For the first time, the doubt he has been pushing away starts to feel real. And painful. Because instinct is no longer warning him. It is confirming something. Inside the office, Nick and Sienna are unaware they are being overheard. They continue talking, unaware that every word is adding another crack into a relationship that is already fragile. Sienna says she does not want anyone to get hurt. Nick agrees. But neither of them steps back. That is the problem. Wanting to do the right thing is not the same as doing it. After a few moments, Sienna leaves the office quickly, almost overwhelmed. Nick remains alone, realizing how close they came to saying something neither can take back. But the damage is already beginning. Because Noah has now seen enough to question everything. Not proof. But something worse. Emotion. When Noah finally steps away from the door, his face is different. The confusion is gone. Now there is certainty forming. Not about what happened, but about what might be happening. And that is where betrayal begins to take shape. Meanwhile, Sharon continues to feel a shift she cannot explain. She senses distance from Nick. She sees Noah becoming more withdrawn. She notices Sienna avoiding emotional openness. The Newman family is no longer communicating clearly. It is fragmenting. Silently. And dangerously. Back at the ranch, Nick sits alone, unaware that his life is beginning to split in two directions. One path leads back to family, honesty, and repair. The other leads into something far more complicated. And Sienna is standing at the center of both. The question now is not whether feelings exist. The question is how long they can survive without becoming reality. By now in Genoa City, the tension surrounding Nick Newman and Sienna is no longer something that can be brushed aside. What once felt like emotional confusion has now transformed into something far more dangerous. Suspicion. And suspicion never stays quiet for long. Noah Newman has reached a point where ignoring his instincts is no longer possible. What he overheard at the ranch, what he witnessed at Crimson Lights, and the strange emotional shifts he has been sensing all begin to form a pattern in his mind. A pattern he does not want to believe. But cannot unsee. The more Noah thinks about it, the more the pieces start to align. The late conversations. The sudden closeness. The way Nick seems unusually protective of Sienna. The way Sienna struggles to meet his eyes when Nick is around. None of it feels random anymore. It feels connected. And that realization pushes Noah toward a decision he has been avoiding. He needs answers. Not guesses. Not assumptions. Truth. One evening, Noah arrives at the Newman ranch with a different energy. He is calm on the outside, but internally, everything is boiling. He tells himself he is just checking in on his father, but his real intention is clear. He wants to see how Nick and Sienna behave when he is in the room. He wants to study them. And he wants to know if what he fears is real. When he enters, Nick is surprised but tries to stay casual. Sienna is there as well, sitting slightly apart, almost like she is trying to maintain emotional distance. The atmosphere immediately feels different from before. Tense. Controlled. Careful. Noah watches closely as the three of them talk. He notices the smallest details. The pauses before answers. The way Nick glances at Sienna when he thinks no one is looking. The way Sienna quickly redirects her attention when Noah speaks directly to her. Something is off. And Noah is done pretending otherwise. After a few minutes of surface-level conversation, Noah finally breaks the silence. He asks a simple question. Too simple. But loaded with meaning. Is there something going on that I should know about? The room changes instantly. Nick freezes for a split second, caught off guard. Sienna's expression tightens. The air becomes heavier, almost suffocating. Nick responds quickly, insisting there is nothing inappropriate happening. He says Noah is imagining things. He reminds him that Sienna is part of his life now and that trust should not be questioned so easily. But Noah does not back down. For the first time, he pushes harder. He mentions the overheard conversation. He mentions the behavior at Crimson Lights. He mentions the emotional distance he has been feeling growing for weeks. Every word raises the tension further. Sienna finally speaks, trying to calm the situation. She says she cares about Noah and would never intentionally hurt him. Her voice is steady, but there is emotion underneath it that she cannot fully hide. That emotion only fuels Noah's suspicion more. Because guilt sounds a lot like truth when it is under pressure. Nick becomes defensive now. Not aggressive, but firm. He insists that whatever bond exists between him and Sienna is only about helping him recover from addiction and nothing more. But even as he says it, there is hesitation in his tone. And Noah notices it. That hesitation is enough. Noah stands still for a moment, looking between them. His expression is no longer confused. It is disappointed. Hurt. And slowly turning into anger. He tells them both that something is changing. And if they are not honest with him now, it will be too late later. Then he walks out. No shouting. No dramatic exit. Just silence. And silence is heavier than any argument. After Noah leaves, Nick and Sienna remain in the room, both shaken by what just happened. The confrontation has forced everything into the open, even without full confession. Sienna admits she feels terrible. She says this situation is getting more complicated than she ever intended. Nick agrees, but there is something deeper now, an awareness that they can no longer pretend their connection is simple. Because Noah has already sensed it. And once suspicion enters a family, it never leaves easily. Outside, Noah sits in his car for a moment before driving away. His hands are steady, but his thoughts are not. He is trying to understand what he just experienced. Did they deny too quickly? Did they react too strongly? Or is he finally seeing the truth he refused to accept? Back inside the ranch, Nick looks distant. Sienna looks conflicted. Neither of them realizes that the confrontation has already changed the direction of everything. Because now there is no going back to normal. Not after questions like that. And not after answers that were never fully given. Meanwhile, Sharon begins to feel the emotional shift becoming impossible to ignore. The family dynamic is breaking in ways she cannot yet explain, but she senses the weight of something unspoken growing stronger every day. And she is right. Something is coming. Something that will force every secret into the light. The only question left is who will break first. Noah, Nick, or Sienna. Genoa City is now standing at the edge of something explosive. After weeks of tension, suspicion, and emotional distance, the situation between Nick Newman, Sienna, and Noah Newman has reached a point where nothing can remain hidden for much longer. Because once trust starts breaking inside a family like the Newmans, it doesn't just crack. It shatters. Following Noah's confrontation at the ranch, everything feels different. Even though no confession has been made, the emotional damage is already done. Words were spoken. Boundaries were tested. And now everyone is left sitting with the weight of what was said and what was not. Noah has pulled away. Not in anger this time. But in silence. And that silence is louder than any argument could ever be. He stops answering calls immediately. He avoids conversations with both Nick and Sienna. Even when he appears in public, there is a distance in his eyes that wasn't there before. It is not just suspicion anymore. It is heartbreak. He is no longer asking if something is going on. He is asking how long it has been going on without him knowing. That shift alone changes everything. Inside the Newman world, Nick is struggling more than he is admitting. The confrontation with Noah has shaken him deeply. For a man who has always defined himself as a protective father, the idea that he may have even unintentionally crossed emotional lines with his son's girlfriend is devastating. Nick tries to convince himself that nothing inappropriate has happened. But guilt is no longer something he can ignore. Every interaction with Sienna now feels heavier. Every conversation feels like it carries consequences. Even when they try to keep things normal no longer exists between them. Sienna is also breaking under the pressure. She cares about Noah. That has never changed. But her emotional connection with Nick has evolved into something she no longer fully understands. What began as concern has turned into dependence, and now it feels like emotional entanglement she cannot simply undo. She finds herself replaying every moment, every look, every conversation, every pause. And she starts realizing something painful. This was never just one moment. It was a slow build, a gradual shift. And now it has become a situation that can hurt everyone involved. One afternoon, Sienna meets Nick alone again, but this time, the energy is completely different. There is no comfort in the conversation. No emotional relief. Only tension. They both know they are being watched emotionally, even if no one is physically present. Sienna finally says what neither of them has fully admitted out loud before. They have crossed emotional boundaries. Nick doesn't argue. He doesn't deny it. He just looks down, because deep down he knows she is right. That silence becomes more powerful than any confession. It confirms what Noah already feared. Not physical betrayal, but emotional betrayal. And in many ways, that can hurt even more. Meanwhile, Noah finally reaches a breaking point of his own. Alone, he reflects on everything he has seen and heard. The fragmented conversations. The strange timing. The emotional distance growing between people he trusted most. And now, instead of confusion, he feels something else. Clarity. It may not be complete, but it is enough. Enough to change how he sees his father. Enough to change how he sees Sienna. And enough to change how he sees his family forever. Back at the Newman ranch, Sharon senses that something irreversible has happened. She sees the emotional divide between Nick and Noah widening. She notices Sienna's increasing discomfort. And she feels a familiar unease that comes whenever the Newman family is about to face another emotional storm. Because Sharon knows this pattern. Secrets don't stay hidden in this family. They surface. And when they do, they destroy everything around them. Nick is now left standing at a crossroads. One path leads to honesty, painful but necessary. The other leads to silence and eventual destruction. Sienna is trapped between love, guilt, and emotional confusion, unsure which direction will cause less damage, even though she knows no choice will come without consequences. And Noah? Noah is no longer waiting for answers. He is preparing for the truth he already believes is coming. The final question now is not whether this situation will explode. It is when. Because in Genoa City, emotional time bombs never stay buried for long. And once they go off, no one walks away untouched.